Okay. Welcome to episode 654 of the podcast. So this is the third consecutive audio-only episode when it comes to the Knicks. Um, don't worry, we're gonna get back to our usual programming and have this up on, have the video up for those of you who like to watch on YouTube and Spotify. But I did let you guys know about a month ago, I would say, as we get closer to the end of the regular season and as the baseball season opens up, which right now we are currently overlapping, I'm going to do a little bit more audio and a little less detailed just because these games don't mean as much, although they do mean a little bit seating-wise. But, I will be back to video format episodes very, very soon with the Knicks, and we'll get into the X's and O's and the fundamentals and, like we like to do. But, for these last couple episodes, maybe the next one will be video, but right now we're just going to be doing audio because we are focusing a lot right now on the Yankees. They opened up their season this past week, and they're currently in the middle of a 4-game set against the Houston Astros to where they are now 3-0, folks, as I record. So that is the reason why I'm doing audio only episodes. It's just because I'm very, very busy preparing notes for the Yankees episode, the first Yankees episode of the regular season tomorrow. And so as we get closer once again to the end of the regular season in the NBA, we're going to be doing less detailed episodes. But as soon as those final couple of games hit and then we get into the playoffs, do not worry. This will be the primary focus, video and everything. We will dive into the X's and O's and the fundamentals and analytical stuff. So just a heads up, episode 654. Let's get into the show, though, right now. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
U.S. trying to close the show. She was doing a great job of feeding that. It's over.
Don't you regret not coming to the net? Don't you regret not coming to the net?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right, folks. All right. Man, that was a game for the Knicks last night, huh? I got to say, again, I was watching a lot. I have the Yankees on the big screen, and I have the Knicks on the tablet here. But I was watching, and I paid much more attention in the second half. So I guess that's where we're going to start, man. It was let's just say Jalen Brunson was historic on the wrong night. And that is so unfortunate because to see his incredibly earned 61 points and to have it wasted like that on such a potentially special night just crushed me. It just crushed me. And it's so difficult to enjoy that artwork, that masterpiece by Jalen just because they lost that game, And you're hearing it on social media. It's funny because before the game, a couple hours before the game, I was scrolling social media, and I see you see this every once in a while with Melo and Randall, and you're starting to see it with Melo and Brunson. I came across a post, think it was on Instagram. Has Jalen Brunson surpassed Carmelo Anthony as a Knick? And this was, I remind you, couple hours before this Knicks Spurs game started. It's funny. Just like at the time I was scrolling past, I'm like, yeah, not yet. He's not there yet. He's played 2 seasons with the Knicks, right? Not even finished with his second yet. Melo was a 25 points per game scorer consistently, even at the end of his Knicks tenure when he was older, slower. He was still scoring 22 points per game, 23. Melo did a lot for this franchise. The one thing Melo never could accomplish was winning. He had some winning regular seasons, but I think that's one thing that we need to see now from Jalen Brunson that we were very confident about when it came to Carmelo. A lot of people didn't love him. Melo split the fan base. There were people who hated him, and then there were people who just were such diehards like myself. I'm not going to say Jalen Brunson has passed that level yet, but there's only one side when it comes to Jalen Brunson, and I find that very interesting. And I don't want to make this into a debate right off the bat, but I meant it as a compliment to Jalen, because this is a kid who I think so many people love him here is because he works his ass off. And while he may not be the best defensive player, he's going to bust his ass and he'll play physical, and he's going to take a charge from a 6'10" power forward driving the middle of the lane just to get his team the possession. He's going to sprint from the weak side to the strong side just to close out to a defender that's left open. He's going to bust his ass every single night. And offensively, the way he's going into the paint against these physical big men, I mean, what he was doing with Wemby last night, like it commands so much respect. Obviously, he's a New York kid. His father's got the roots with the Knicks. I think Knicks fans can resonate with that because he's a blue-collar dude. Obviously, Melo, Brooklyn guy, but I think Knicks fans love him so much because Melo came here and he was expected to be this superstar, expected to get the Knicks to win. And Jalen Brunson he came here in a trade that was looked at as a disappointment. Many of us wanted the Donovan Mitchell deal to happen, and we get this guy named Jalen Brunson. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'll expose myself. I called him Walmart Raymond Felton. So I think that's why this guy's loved so much. Just the expectation wasn't this. But then last year he goes and does what he does. He has the postseason that he does. And he comes out here this year, and it's like once you do it once, you figure they'd have an expectation, they'd be tougher on you. Well, he's one-upped himself, and we love him even more for it. This guy is such a leader. He says he's not the savior. That's such bullshit. He's the absolute savior for this franchise, and it's just so unfortunate that this had to come in a loss. You know, this dude last night, the way he was getting his baskets, he worked his ass off. Playing physical and getting no whistles. He got no help from most of his teammates. The Knicks didn't look like they were very into this game from the start, at the start. And by the end of the game, because Brunson had to do so much, he was completely gassed. But I'm glad that this kid's starting to get some recognition. I don't think there's a sane mind out there who would leave him off of their top 7 MVP ballot. I have him penciled in at 5 right now. You just have to consider all the injuries that the Knicks have had. You got to take into account his size and what he's been able to do to keep them not just afloat, but they're on pace to win, 49, 48, 49, 50 wins maybe even, and grab the number 4 seed. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. I hope that whoever else is left out there doubting him is just, quit your job, or just shut your fucking mouth, or maybe just finally admit you're wrong. I'm not going to call out any names, but there are, people that we know in the media on ESPN or clowns on TNT. Let's just, you know what I'm doing. You know who I'm talking about. former coaches of the team we just played, WNBA player, So let's just give this kid some fucking respect at this point, because it's utterly disgusting that he's doing all that he's doing and he's still not getting respect from a small group of people. The respected media members have done nothing but praise this guy every time they get a chance. Right? You hear all the time about the Knicks have this grit. Every night there's this like headline, there's a podcast clip or an article about how the Knicks play so hard and they're resilient. But the one thing people always mention first is like, yeah, they have Brunson, and then they talk about the resiliency. It's like, yeah, of course, of course Brunson is doing his thing, but this Knicks team is so resilient. Brunson's first for a fucking reason. Because he's pretty amazing at basketball, and he's on his way to becoming what I think he will become, is a Knicks legend. So, Brunson almost ties and breaks Carmelo Anthony's 62-point record last night at the Garden from a Knick. But Dante DiVincenzo set a record. He broke the record for most three-pointers in a season for a New York Knick. So congrats to him. He was the only one who was semi on his game last night, offensively at least. He had 20 points. But Jalen Brunson, everybody else just a lack of support. And it was pretty disgraceful to watch. Brunson was a plus 20 in a 4-point loss, folks. He was a plus 20. Everybody else was rough. You go to the bench, not a good night for the bench. Precious Achiuwa was a minus 30. Bojan Bogdanovic was a minus 16. Mitchell Robinson was a minus 10. Mitch put up some empty stats. Every time Isaiah Hartenstein left the floor, it got ugly for the Knicks. Precious Achiuwa played poorly too at big. Obviously, he makes the bad decision at the end of the game. Should he have won to Dante? Should he have won up? He should have won up. Bojan Bogdanovic has been just, he's the big miss. He is a big, giant miss by the front office. And this front office has done so many great things, Jalen Brunson being one of them. This Bojan Bogdanovic trade is not looking good. It didn't, no, you know what? Let me rephrase that. It didn't work out. This Bojan Bogdanovic trade did not work out. I'm not saying it's not working out. No, it's over. It didn't work out. It was a swing and a miss. It's over. He was here to bridge the gap. He's not done that. His time's over. There's nothing he can do at this point to redeem himself. You tell me, what about play? He's not going to see a minute in the playoffs. If the Knicks get healthy, and it is a big if, which maybe we'll touch on that in a second. If the Knicks get healthy, this guy's not going to see a fucking second. His defense is so bad, and his offense has just completely vanished. He has no right to get a single 1 second of playoff basketball. He's been so garbage, and I'm so happy that he's not going to be here past this year. So the only redeeming quality is that $22 million salary. I don't think Brunson got help from the officials. I thought there were a number of times where he was hit, smacked, didn't matter. He finished the game. A game where he took 47 shots. He only got 6 free throws. Meanwhile, this rookie, who hasn't proved shit, Wembanyama gets 12. The Knicks shot 12 as a team. San Antonio was plus 32 on the free throw line in terms of attempts. They get the jump ball violation going their way at the end. Like, it was disgusting. But I just want to credit Jalen Brunson, because how amazing was that? 61 points for Jalen Brunson. He's getting the game ball, by the way. If you needed me to tell you. Yeah, he's getting the game ball. 61 points for Jalen. He shot the ball 25 for 47 from the field, 53%. He was 5 for 13 from 3, 6 of 6 at the free throw line. He had 6 assists, turned it over just once, and he was a plus, again, 20, despite losing by 4. He now has 29 game balls on the year, obviously leading the team. He is scoring in so many different ways. He's out there snaking pick and roll, faking DHO with Dante DiVincenzo. He's sideline out of bounds actions, and you play drop coverage on him. Good luck. As soon as he gets past the point of attack defender, he's 49% in the mid-range, folks. So he'll go to the floater. He'll pull up. He'll reject the screen to take you out of the action. Stop dropping on him. I don't understand. And if you blitz him, he's going to use his big, iHeart, as the outlet. And iHeart's going to make a play out of the short roll. It's impossible to slow him down. And now that he's been such a better force off the ball, too, he's been running in. The Knicks are running Brunson in off-ball actions. Like, with Julius out, they've made that a point of focus. He's screening weak side. He's slipping the screen, cutting off his own screen. He's making back cuts off the ball. He's got this incredible chemistry that he developed with Isaiah Hartenstein that we've talked about a ton. He's got some of the best footwork I've seen. I continue to say he's the best scorer off 2 feet in the game. His pick and roll with Mitchell Robinson was working last night. A number of times he had the defender at his hips just because he's so shifty when he attacks the lane. But he was running some pick and roll with Mitch. Empty side pick and roll, high pick and roll in the middle. Just doing so many great things. He's creating separation by stopping on a dime. That one shot that he drilled over Wemby in the middle of the third quarter. He attacks Wemby's front foot. He pulls up abruptly. Wemby can't recover. Bang. In your fucking face. He could take you to the low post, use his core strength. He can score on you in any way. It doesn't matter. Trap, drop, hedge, blitz, switch. I don't think it fucking matters. Jalen Brunson's a bucket. He's 310 on a good day, and he's averaging 28 points per game on such an efficient line. So good for him. He's getting the game ball. We go to the bench. It was so bad, I got to do a process of elimination game ball. And just because Mitchell Robinson had some empty stats, 7 points, 12 boards, I'll give him his 4th game ball of the year. Didn't look good at all. It was his 2nd game back, whatever. He's got to figure out how to defend the 3 because that remains a problem for him. And that's why I'm so terrified of the Boston matchup. But, yeah, it sucks that Jalen Brunson has such a big night and this happens. And I hope the bad vibes don't start to return now. Because this was such a needed win. This was a stretch where I believe the Knicks needed to go 4-0 on. Brooklyn, Detroit, Toronto, San Antonio. They finished that stretch going 3-1. But, I mean, listen, I know you. It's hard to ask a team to go 4-0. San Antonio is an abomination of a team. I get it. They're a young team. They've got Wemby. They've got Pop. They have a culture there. Yes. They have fucking 17 wins? They have 17 wins. I mean, what are we doing? That's a team that you have to win that. You had to win that. You absolutely need to take that because you look at the standings now. You could probably call it a quits regarding the 2 seed. Don't think there's enough time for that. And you just lost the 3 seed. You dropped down the 4 because of this. Cleveland won last night. So now you're 4th. You're back in Boston's side of the bracket. Indiana won last night. Cleveland's 3rd by a half game. The Knicks are in 4th. And with Orlando's win, they're in 5th by just a game and a half behind the Knicks with the tiebreaker. Indiana's in 6th by 3 games with the tiebreaker. Miami is in 7th by 4. Philly's in 8th by 5.5 games from the Knicks, with Joel Embiid coming back very soon. So that kind of scares me too, if the Knicks aren't healthy. Their current matchup as we sit here is a 4-5 against the Orlando Magic, with the extra game being at the Garden. But yeah, it concerns me. And I'm getting very concerned because Mitch is already questionable for tomorrow with the ankle sprain. He sprained his ankle in the game. Isaiah Hartenstein's already probable with a wrist sprain. He's not guaranteed to play yet. And we already got the news that OG Anunoby and Julius Randle will not be playing. That is a problem. And that is what I said for a couple of episodes in a row now, that if OG is not playing by OKC, it's an issue. Because OKC is a tough team. They are not a freebie game. Definitely not that. And with how tight this Eastern Conference is right now, if it was precautionary, he'd be in there. So this tells me it's a little bit more than some of us might want. I happen to believe, I think that Julius, there's a chance he does not come back. I think best case, and this might sound pessimistic, is that Julius comes back and he's not good. I think that's best case scenario. The guy's been sitting out for so long. He's such a physical player. You know he's going to take a minute. I don't think you're getting a good Julius if he does return. And if he does return, I think he's missing the first round. I think OG is missing the rest of the season. I think he'll be back by the first round. But Randall, I cannot guarantee you he'll be back. We haven't gotten a positive update since this whole thing happened. But now you got OKC next. And the only saving grace you could say is that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is doubtful for tomorrow. But a tough loss, folks. A very tough loss on a historic night for who will be a Knicks legend. So that's all I have. No breaks, no trivia. We're just going to get right into the outro. Thank you guys for tuning in. Episode 654 BD4. I'll see you guys in the next show. We will be doing Knicks OKC, but episode 655 probably will be Yankees Astros, which, oh man, I get excited just saying that. It's been a hell of a start, and I cannot wait to discuss that game and talk about it with you guys. So thanks for tuning in, though. Knicks fans, I'll see you back on Monday or so. Monday night, something like that. We'll talk Knicks OKC. That should be out Monday or Monday night. Thank you, though, for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next show. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks!